You don't like me because you see me calling it like I see it. You're not Michael Jordan. You're not the GOAT. You did choke in an NBA Finals. 4 consecutive fourth quarters.
What do you mean by that?
Stephen A. Smith has kicked off yet another media campaign, and this one could end up being his boldest move so far. This is an apology campaign, and it definitely isn't another defense of the rich and powerful. This time, it's the I'm Done Holding Back tour. Looking directly into the camera, Stephen A. made it clear he was ready to speak about Savannah's husband, LeBron James, without pulling any punches. The instant those words left his mouth, the entire atmosphere shifted. You could almost feel the tension take over the room.
You almost begged people to hold LeBron accountable, ask him about the truth. What do you mean when you say media members, other people, hold him accountable for the truth? What are you saying?
So, now you're going to retire.
So, whenever Stephen A. starts talking in that tone, you know praise isn't what's coming next. He's about to bring up the evidence. He's ready to revisit old controversies that were never truly put to rest. He's prepared to voice the opinions people have quietly shared for years but rarely had the courage to say publicly. So here's a question worth thinking about. Why does the entire GOAT debate seem to unravel the instant LeBron James becomes the subject of criticism?
4 consecutive fourth quarters in an NBA Finals. This man was scoring 4 points. One game, he scored 0 points. In an NBA Finals, fourth quarter. With Jason Terry or J.J. Barea guarding you. There is no explanation for that.
These are the facts of the case, and they are undisputed.
Let's be real for a second. Stephen A. has been taking heat all week. Social media has been relentless. Critics keep accusing him of catering to powerful people. Others claim he changes his tone whenever massive wealth and influence enter the conversation. I'm not making that argument myself. I'm just saying, if you're a billionaire with the right connections, Stephen A. suddenly seems incredibly accommodating. He'll go out of his way to keep you comfortable. The consistency of that behavior is what has so many people talking. But none of that was the focus today. Today's target was LeBron James. And just as importantly, it was the fans who've defended him so fiercely that, to some observers, they've been disconnected from reality for the better part of the last decade and a half.
To anybody who knows basketball, that's a choke job. You overcame it. Major props to you. You've elevated yourself from the time that LeBron James won the championship against Oklahoma City. Throughout the rest of his career, you can make a legitimate case of the GOAT argument with him against Jordan.
Sometimes it feels like some of y'all arrived on that comet everyone's been talking about. Because the basketball takes you come up with don't belong in the real world. They ignore basic logic. They rewrite history. They completely abandon common sense. Eventually, Stephen A. reached his limit and said, enough is enough. What he delivered on the Pivot podcast wasn't just another viral soundbite. It wasn't manufactured for clicks or controversy. It was a message that made people uncomfortable because it challenged long-held narratives. And that's exactly why the room fell completely silent.
But we get to piggyback off of the previous stuff that happened prior to that. Michael Jordan was averaging 10 times in his career, played all 82 games 9 times, 9 times an all-NBA first-team defensive player, a defensive player of the year, okay, a 6-time champion, a 6-time NBA Finals MVP, a 5-time MVP of the league, and in your 22nd or 23rd year, you still chasing. Now, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I think it's obvious who the GOAT is.
You could read it all over Ryan Clark's face. It was the kind of expression that said, here we go, he's really about to say it. The Pivot set had never been that quiet. Not once. And that silence mattered. Because moments like that happen when a conversation suddenly becomes real. Silence is often the clearest sign that everyone in the room understands what's being said, even if they're not ready to respond. It reveals when people recognize an uncomfortable truth, but hesitate to face what accepting it would actually mean.
In my estimation, having said that, let's appreciate the fact that a GOAT conversation is nothing denigrating anybody. Because I'm still acknowledging you as being in the conversation as the greatest of all time.
That's interesting. That's very interesting.
Keep one thing in mind. Michael Jordan never needed a different situation to prove his greatness. He didn't go searching for outside validation. He stayed where he was and built a dynasty through dominance. That's the competitive difference many people point to when comparing the two. The modern NBA has a very different culture. Players are closer than ever. You'll see smiles, embraces, and jersey swaps after the final buzzer. Jordan approached every matchup with one objective: winning, no matter who stood in front of him. So when Stephen A. laid out his argument, it landed because nobody in the room stepped in to challenge him. No one immediately disputed his points. No one brushed them aside as simple bias. His case was built around moments and narratives that have been discussed for years. That's often when the conversation shifts. Supporters move away from dominance and focus on longevity. The debate changes from defining moments to career totals. Now let me leave you with the same question that sparked all this discussion. Don't avoid it, don't change the subject, and don't hide behind team records. What specific accomplishments make you believe LeBron James belongs above or even alongside Michael Jordan in the GOAT conversation? Take a moment and think about it. And while you do, ask yourself why this discussion feels so personal. Why is the first reaction to defend instead of? Evaluate the argument on its own merits. Now it's your turn to weigh in. Did Stephen A. push the conversation too far? Or did he simply voice opinions that many people have been thinking for years? Do you believe the media treats LeBron differently? Or do you think fans are too emotionally invested to view the debate objectively? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Whether you're a LeBron supporter, a Jordan supporter, or somewhere in the middle, make your case. Stephen A. didn't invent the GOAT debate. He reignited it by saying the quiet part out loud. If one podcast discussion is enough to shake an entire fan base, maybe that says something about how fragile the debate has become. Maybe the real issue isn't that LeBron has been unfairly criticized. Maybe it's that he's often been shielded from the same level of scrutiny others have faced. Once that shield disappears, every criticism feels much more personal. Now the conversation belongs to you. Not Stephen A., not the media, everyone watching. Can basketball be discussed honestly, even when it challenges your favorite player? Or should certain legends be beyond criticism? The greatest players in history don't need to be protected from debate. Their legacies are strong enough to withstand it. If this topic still makes people uncomfortable, that alone tells you how passionate this conversation has become. So go ahead and share your opinion. Fans, critics, and neutral observers alike, join the discussion. Disagree if you want, debate as much as you like, because that's part of what makes sports interesting. Just don't act as if these questions came out of nowhere. Stephen A. didn't invent them. He simply gave them a microphone.